So welcome to the first episode of Quail Tales, and this has been something in the making for fucking years. And I say in the making, more of just it's been a concept that I've been really wanting to do for a very long time. But I'm just just always busy, essentially, even when I'm not busy. And getting things done and being creative sometimes is hard, but it's finally happening. It's finally fucking here. So yeah, and I'm Connor Jensen. And with me is...
I'm Toby McIntyre.
the Scottish lad. If you know me, you've probably heard of him before. But, yeah, my goal kind of with this podcast, we're probably not going to do it on a schedule. It's just going to release when it releases for now. And we'll see what happens if it gains any traction or people want more of it. But my goal essentially is we're just going to tell stories, talk about opinions, beliefs, goof around, and just have fun. So, if you want to lay down, grab a drink or whatever, and just sit back and listen to us be genuine assholes. But, yeah, so you come from a pretty different place than I. I mean, I'm in the States, you're in Scotland.
Yeah.
So, education is a very different thing for both of us. Because we had school, so you go to preschool, then you have kindergarten. So you're a little kid at this point. And then you go there until like 6th grade. You're probably about 12, 13. Mm-hmm. Then you do middle school, 7th and 8th. And then you have high school, which is 4 years. And then by the time you graduate, you're like 18. So how does Scotland work with that shit?
So it's... preschool is what we call nursery, which is just like...
Nursery?
Basically shit yourself. Age.
Okay.
And then we go to like primary school, which is from quite young. But well, at least the school I went to, the primary school, and then it goes to 1 to 6, like primary 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, whatever. And then it's kind of confusing. Because then it goes from 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 again, but in the same school.
Wait, what?
Yes.
You get promoted.
So, yeah, you get promoted basically, and you get a different uniform and shit like that, and you get to do way more, and you get to start choosing your subjects. And then after that,
you have to prestige. Imagine having to prestige in education. Yes. You're like, you hit 6. I'm Grand Master, finally. And like, back to 1.
That's kind of a way to look at it. You prestige, and then you get a new uniform, so you're identifiable.
And this time I'm doing 1, but I'm blue.
And you may get a few pubes if you're lucky, you know.
Your balls may drop. Could happen. Yeah. Maybe not. Your voice might go higher, might go lower. You never know.
But then we do college, and then university after that, which is like...
So wait, you do...
I want to be...
college and then university? Both?
Yes, because you can do...
What?
Yes. Because college is like... what would you call like a half a degree kind of deal?
Well,
like a partial?
What I fucking did, going to community college for 4 fucking years.
Yeah, it's kind of similar to that, in a sense. But but then you go to universities where you're going to get your full degree. If you want to be something like a fucking radiographer or some bullshit that requires
a doctor,
a lot of intelligence.
Surgeon. Or apparently a police officer.
Things like that. Even other stuff like doing therapy and shit. You can go to college. There's college for a lot of things, but if you, university. But college, if you want to do things like construction or stuff like that, you probably wouldn't go to university. You would go to college, and then you'd get an apprenticeship from a company, and they basically pay you below minimum wage, but you're also getting education while you do it.
So, it's kind of like a paid internship then, because with some internships in America, you don't exactly make like a paying living wage, essentially.
Yes,
but you're
don't
getting experience.
It's basically that, but you, instead of going to university, you can do apprenticeships, depending on what you're doing. Like, I can't be a fucking apprentice surgeon, you know. Oops. Killed them.
It's kind of
you know,
like, I know it's not the same, but it's like someone being like, "Oh yeah, don't worry, we'll take the artwork you made for us, but we'll pay you an exposure. We'll give you some exposure."
Yeah,
That's like the biggest fuck you, essentially. It's like an artist work super. Like, imagine old timey like painters. You know, they spend hundreds of hours on these beautiful fucking paintings, and whoever they sell it to or whatever they made it for, they're like, "Oh, we'll pay you an exposure. One day we'll put it in a museum. You won't get."
I want you to draw my persona, but I'll pay you an exposure.
Oh my god. You won't get money, but you'll get clout.
Yeah, I don't want that kind of exposure, you know? I don't want people knowing I'm drawing, like, animal people just fucking going at it.
What if...
dicks.
Oh my god. Imagine, like, ye old furry shit.
But,
like,
god. If you get paid in that kind of exposure, people are just gonna, like, oh, that's the guy... Yeah, you go to him for furry porn, and then that's your career.
I mean, I don't think that existed in the early, like, hundreds. You know?
I mean, yeah, and then you just fuck an animal instead.
Imagine, yeah, basically, apparently. Imagine, like, Renaissance paintings, you know? But they're all just, like, fursuits. Like the Mona Lisa, but it's just
there's shit like that in Fables and stuff.
And what do you mean by Fables? Like, just, like classic?
Like the stories with like the frog on the riding on the scorpion riding on the back of the frog, things like that.
Yeah, okay, I see.
There's like shit like that in Fables, but it wasn't deviant intent. Like
it wasn't deviant art level for Sona.
Yeah.
Oh god.
I just fucking realized deviant art. What a fitting name for a fucking website.
I remember being really young, like way too fucking young. And being like, oh, DeviantArt, I can draw and post things here. And it's just like at some point I think I was like, wow, this is not where I want to be doing.
DeviantArt.
There's a lot of things I really feel like I found too early. Like, I remember coming home in like 3rd, 4th grade and being like, yay, Newgrounds! And looking back at it, it's like, I think that
kind of
advanced a lot of shit. But yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. See that artist I showed you with the weird surreal stuff, Alexander Kumpan or whatever his name was.
Like the really, it's like kind of realistic but really out there shit.
Weird shit.
Like the weird Redman. It was like a red weird monster thing.
Yeah,
like...
he sells the stuff in DeviantArt.
I mean, hey,
which is wild.
Gotta make money.
It's kind of like he could find a better platform though, because he's fucking good.
Mm-hmm. I think it's genuinely hard to make a living as like an artist too. Like, I mean, I can make a painting, sure, and I'm fine. But like, one of the things, because I was considering selling some paintings just for money, like making paintings with the intent of selling it. But it's like, pricing that shit is hard because the cost of material and the time goes.
You spent so much time in it. That's the thing.
But also, it's like, I'm a college student. I'm not gonna sell. I wouldn't be comfortable selling something for probably the price it needs to be sold at. It's just not for me to do.
Just go on Etsy and molest people for prices.
I mean, hey, that's Etsy in general.
It's only $50, but it's also $50 postage. You know?
It's just $20. $60 shipping though. It's coming from really far away.
Yes. Yeah, it's coming from like 3 miles away.
Well, no. Don't say that. But back on the topic of education.
Yes.
I had this teacher, Mrs. Bailey, and I was a kindergartner at this point, right? But I remember that class so much because she did this thing that I feel like you know, I was born before 2000. Like I don't know if this thing would fly in this day and age. You know, like this is grounds for termination, possibly. I don't know, but
I've had a few teachers.
She had a huge fucking hat, right? And it was this big angry crab, and she would say, if Miss Bailey's wearing the crab hat, that means she's crabby. So don't talk to her. You're not allowed to talk to Mrs. Bailey when she's wearing her crab hat. And like, I don't know why. It's just that image of that angry crab atop her head. It's just like burnt into my fucking retinas.
you put the hat on and in front of the fucking class start screaming, oh god, she's angry!
Don't talk! No!
Please!
Like I like the idea of just being a teacher who teaches through hats. It's like, and I wear the chameleon when I'm happy, but if I have the octopus, I'm depressed. So if you talk to me, I will cry aggressively. Like, what the fuck is that? Why?
If I wear the red hat, I'm on my period.
So don't fucking talk to me.
Yes.
Oh man.
If I wear the elongated pink hat, I'm horny.
Oh god. I mean, grounds for termination. Once again.
Yeah.
Fucking hell. Did you have any interesting, goofy ass teachers when you were younger?
I mean, I had some piece of shit teachers that would like actually just physically abuse their students.
Oh my god. Like, what do you mean by like hit them?
Like we were young. Yeah, like they would pick them up by the collar and throw them to the floor, kind of deal.
It was like
so I made a dumb joke and she did that to me once. So I was like, you fucking bitch. But it's a point where we're too young to realize that was, wrong. So no one would report her. Eventually she got terminated because she's a fucking horseshit human being.
I just wonder too, we were talking about it earlier. I wonder, like, how many of those kids grew up then to be, like, super deep within the BDSM community, and they're, like, trying to figure out and trace it back to what was
I don't remember her name. Like, I love it when she would
not like that.
Slammed me into the ground and kicked my ribs.
Like, the root cause.
Yeah.
Like, looking at myself, all things considered, I had a perfectly normal childhood. My parents never abused me.
Yeah.
Like, all things considered, everything was perfectly normal. And I'm just, I mean, me currently, it's just like, what the fuck happened?
When I saw grandmother's big rubber boots, I knew.
Oh my god.
Shit like that.
It has to take more than that, you know?
I think your fetish is defined by, like, a point. Something happened while you were sexually developing. And that was it.
It's kind of weird, though, because those things still develop, even when you're, like... I mean, I'm 23, and I still find out fucking things about myself. I'm just like, oh god, why?
You just become more degenerate, honestly. That's as you get older, you become more degenerated. With fucking, you're like, maybe pegging would be kind of nice, you know?
It's a mix of just becoming more degenerate and just caring less, and just being like, I mean, trying this can't hurt. I'll come away with a story from it.
I'm honestly willing to try almost anything as long as I'm not getting like horrifically injured or shot on.
I mean, yeah, scat's pretty fucking awful. That's like a cardinal.
Yeah.
Like, no kink shaming, but that one's just fucking awful.
Yeah.
I mean, as long as it is between me and one other person, I feel like that's my rule, you know? Like, I don't really ever want to be cucked. I don't want to ever cuck someone else. Like, I already have a guilty conscience, you know? Like, imagine, like, you meet this person, everything's great, and then you find out, like, they have, like, a husband or a boyfriend, and you've been doing this the entire time without that knowledge.
I mean, that's not your problem. That's fucking their problem.
Yeah, but you also know me. The guilt would, like, consume me.
Yeah. You'd be goofy, Connor. You're kind of like a woman.
I mean, I'm not even gonna fight back against that. There's far too many qualities about me that are very feminine.
Stop caring, Connor, honestly.
Stop being emotional. Be a typical man. Just
yeah.
You know, throw a pigskin around, watch the game, chug a beer.
Becomes just like a super masculine, just fucking... Take the testosterone, honestly.
I probably have a lack of it, honestly. I remember...
Not manly enough.
The vitamin D thing on the Cream Crew podcast when Tom was like, increases your testosterone, and then I started taking it again at some point. And I was like...
Honestly, Connor, you just should.
I know I should. Wow, dude. Maybe it'd fix my, like, serotonin imbalance and all that shit. Crazy.
You won't be such a homosexual.
My serotonin imbalance, my low testosterone, all of that just whoop gets reversed right away, man. Oh man.
And then you're not a depressed little Labrador boy anymore. You're just a fucking manly man.
You mean
what the fuck?
I don't know. Yeah. Woo! I can spiral. Yeah. I don't need to take walks at 1 a.m. and walk for 3 hours listening to sad music. Woohoo! Hey, it's meditation. It's good for me.
Oh, yeah.
God. Unless I come
So
across.
you walk right off a fucking cliff and
No, there's no cliffs.
Whoops!
I just don't want to
So
run
you walk
into
right
javelinas.
into like a park and into a park of like fucking fucking hell beasts.
Oh man, that night was so scary.
Tear you apart.
I was responding to Rue because Rue was flaming me about
Yeah.
something, and then I just hear like, "Argh!" And I was like, and I look up and on a
Oink oink, motherfucker.
yeah, it was on the step of an amphitheater, and it was like 1 a.m. at this point. It was pretty late, and there's just this the fucking massive javelina, and next to it is like a Peppa Pig-sized little teacup javelina baby just looking at me like, "Hello, friend," and I'm like, "Oh no." And like, if the javelina had access to get down, it would have immediately charged. But it was like, fuck,
Connor,
my legs are too
you should
stumpy.
grab the fucking baby and run.
I was talking to someone about it, and they were like,
Reese
"Oh,
is your own."
if it goes to attack me, I'm just punting the child." And I'm like, "No, I'm not gonna fucking punt a child."
No, because that it won't go after their child. It'll fucking start bawling you. You should probably just fucking lie down and pretend I'm dead. Don't kill me. Don't attack me. I'm submitting. That's what you do with bears. You just go fucking limp on the ground.
Yeah, but like with bears are so fucking goofy because they're just. I love bears.
Honestly,
they're just
yeah.
powerhouses of muscle and power. But then they're also just fucking goofy, and they just vibe. But then
boys.
if they have like a baby and you go up to it, it's just like, "Ha ha, you've
Aha,
chosen
time to
death."
Yeah.
Time to perish, brother. Like, I love that though because it's two sides of a very similar coin. Like they know when to be goofy, but then they know when it's like, all right, it's time to fuck shit up.
Yeah.
And I can respect that.
It's time to die. I have children.
I mean, except for sun bears. Sun bears are basically just like
Sun bears?
too goofy. Yeah. Hey, come on, they're in on the tier list of bears.
What exactly are sun bears? Let me look at them.
Look up a picture of a sun bear. They're just goofy bears, but they're like
I spelled bear really wrong.
B-A-R-E.
I put a W in there for fucking some reason.
Beware.
Oh, sun bears. Yeah, I said beware. Yeah. Oh, those guys.
Yeah.
They're fucking good boys.
They're good boys, but like survival.
Some bears just look like hell beasts, though. Some of them.
Polar bears are fucking hell beasts. Those I think are polar bears the strongest bear? I think they're.
Oh shit, I don't know. Let's see. Googling mid fucking. Oh, I typed in strong and it came a grizzly bear.
Really?
When it comes to pure strength, grizzly bear can lift over 500 kg, 0.8 times its body weight.
Oh, it's like that one bear. The Polish bear. Do you remember his name? He would like give ammo to the troops, and they all fucking.
Oh
loved him.
yeah.
Was it like
like the little mascot man?
Was it Wozak? Womack?
I don't know.
Yeah, it was like World War I believe, and he'd carry ammo to the troops, and they all fucking loved him. They'd like feed him beer and shit,
Yeah.
and he was a lad, and then he just retired to like a zoo in Poland and died peacefully. Wotek. Hey, I was close. Yeah.
Yeah.
He's a fucking good boy.
He's a Siberian brown bear.
Wow, imagine
There's a
learning
young
that
cub at
in
the railway
school.
station in. Wow.
But
In school's
instead,
shit. You don't learn anything.
No.
You some crap.
I don't think I learned anything in school until like college. I had a few good
Yeah.
teachers along the way that like imparted some good knowledge. Like
Yes.
my psych
same.
teacher in high school. It's always psych teachers. That's
My
why I
math
need
teacher
to-
was such a lad.
really
Good boy.
I had
Yeah, he's
I had
a fucking
one
down-to-earth
good.
fellow.
Well, I've had like two good math teachers, but one was just I liked him as a person. But I had one in college, and she would relate every subject we took to its real world application before she taught it, and that's like the only math class I've ever gotten an A in.
He would do shit like that, but he was also just a fucking great human being. He was a good guy. I liked him a lot.
All right,
Actually made me want to do math.
you ready? You ready for this hypothetical?
Oh yeah, okay.
All
You
right.
came up with this before.
I did,
Let's see.
and I didn't tell you what it was. So
Yeah, you didn't.
let's say that you're like college age student essentially. You're fucking younger than me. That's not part of the hypothetical. This is just fact. But so let's say you're out on your own, right? You're going to
Yep.
college, and like
Okay.
you're big into this community, right? And you all love the same thing. And then you find this house, right? Where everyone in the house, you know, they have the same hobby.
Yeah.
And then like a few weeks later you realize, I joined a cult.
Yeah.
Whoops. What do you do? Do you stay there? Or do you
It depends if it's like, how aggressive is this cult? Am I getting viciously abused, or is it just a fucking vibing chill cult?
well,
So I'd be
like-
so down. to be in a cult that just fucking vibe.
It
That sounds so fun.
It depends on the cult. Like, I feel like some cults could be pretty wildly good. Like, what if there's just a cult that worships something goofy, right? Like,
Yeah.
obviously, if they're like, hey, let's go fucking do bad things, it's like, but
Yeah. I mean, the cult of like denim.
the cult of denim, everyone, we're holding a meeting in the town square at midnight.
Yes.
Bring your finest overalls and jeans and
Yes.
jackets. Everyone has like
It's just a bit more fetish cult. Let's have a denim orgy.
everyone has denim condoms.
It's like latex shit that's denim instead.
Make sure you wash your denim condom and then at least
Oh god.
30 minutes.
How would it even work? It would just fucking seep.
There's something about a denim condom, and I wish I remembered it. It's some like classic meme. But yeah, dude. And that hypothetical, for anyone who doesn't know, is making fun of it was Penn State. It was something called Final Fantasy House, and this is the most wild fucking shit. Essentially, this guy who's super into Final Fantasy met a bunch of people online, and he'd visit them, and the two cult leaders were like, well, it was pretty early because this is like 2003, and Otherkin is more of an established thing now, and I think a little more understood, but it's 2003 is very early, so they're into like soul bonding, which is like, essentially the leader felt that there was multiverses, and like, don't get me wrong, multiverse theory is great, string theory, any of that. I genuinely believe in some of that stuff, but what I don't find myself believing in is she also thought that video games were real and they happened in another universe. So each of the people of the Final Fantasy house lived as one of these characters as a past life, and she would name them all like that. But it gets like really fucked up, like to the point where it's like, oh, these two characters are canonically together in the game. That means you guys have to go in a room and have sex. And like, I think she claimed to have laced their food with aphrodisiacs to make that happen. And even after all this, after locking this fucking poor man in a, like, what room was it?
It was just like a white room, and they played like what song was it?
It's a
The Nightmare's
song.
Just Beginning.
Yeah, there's a song.
Something like that.
There's a song in Final Fantasy VII called "The Nightmare's Only Begun" or "The Nightmare's Just Beginning," and they locked this person in the room and played that through the door. And after all of this, they still stayed. And like, that just happens with most abuse, you know. In relationships, you can be getting abused, and you're like, "No, they love me. It's fate. It's destiny." Oh, but
at that point in the story, he hadn't even moved in with them yet, though. He was just visiting them.
and
he came back to move in with them. Paid $300 for a fucking bus ticket.
Yeah, every time he went to see them, he paid $300, and by all means, I'm not really sure if I blame him too much, because it was just a place to belong and a place to be.
Yeah.
And then I think he got way too deep, essentially, like, to the point
Ushered
of no
into the
return.
cult.
Because even the stuff with Sid, Sid is a character from Final Fantasy, and I think Sid was like one of the most reasonable, like, sane people. And Sid helped them a lot at many different occasions. But even the cult leaders were like, essentially like gaslighting our main character here, and trying to convince them that like, Sid is an asshole, blah blah blah, all this shit. And it's just like, what the fuck? And it gets even more wild. People started putting pieces together at some point, because this like thing exploded, and there's a housing forum where someone talked about this crazy roommate that lived with them, and it just, there's a video Toby recommended to me, just called Final Fantasy House by Down the Rabbit Hole on YouTube. It's like a 50-60 minute documentary on this situation. I really recommend watching it. There's a pretty good Vice article too. It's pretty fucked up though. Like, it's like a train wreck. You cannot look away.
Yeah. Didn't like the cult leaders split at some point, and one of them was like started soul bonding to characters from Suikoden or whatever it's called.
Yeah. I think that was before.
Is that before?
I don't really
I
know
don't fully
the
remember.
timeline necessarily. I think it's before, because I believe
Could be.
Suikoden is older. Because I never played it myself, but I do know about
Let's
it.
see.
I think it's another Square Enix game.
Yeah. Suikoden. Video game series. 1995.
1995. Because when did FF7 come out? Let's see. I think that's gonna be like that might be 1997.
It's before 1997. Yeah.
That game is.
Oh, fuck! I saw screenshots of that fucking look like fucking Roblox guys. Come on.
1997. So is that older than I am? When did that come out?
Yeah, I mean.
September 7th.
It's probably older than you, yeah.
It's like 2 months older than me, yeah. November 2nd, so.
Yeah.
That's fucking wild.
It's like 3 years older than me. I don't know. Like 2 years older than me.
Yeah.
Two and a bit years older than me. Yeah, there you go. That's about right.
But yeah, that's one of the wildest things I've heard or read recently. But
that's pretty good. Final Fantasy is great.
It's just
really interesting.
So fascinating.
Well, it's not great. It's pretty awful.
No, it's horrible. I think the guy that it affected really did like a pretty good job making like a website to warn people of the like dangers of it all and all that shit. And I think it was so early in the internet age where we really didn't see anything like that. That was a pretty new phenomenon.
I wasn't really doing the internet at that point. I was like 4 years old.
Oh,
when that game straight happened.
No, yeah, I'm not even talking about us, just people in general.
Yeah.
I mean,
people in general. That was like wild. That was like really wild for them, especially. You know, I was like, what the fuck are these psychopaths?
I was like slapping a fucking keyboard playing like Jurassic Park Mario Party.
Yeah. I was busy fucking like finding boxes of matches and lighting them and crying when they fucking go on fire, like an imbecile. Just doing dumb shit.
The hell? I never heard that.
Pretending I'm stuck down the fucking cushions and crying for help. You know, it's dumb shit kids do. But yeah. I mean, there's a lot of good shit on his website though. Like a lot of really good stuff.
Yeah, he's a really well-spoken, articulate person, and his way of speaking is just good. It's like David something, I think.
Oh yeah. This guy actually deserves a shout out.
Yeah.
Frederick Kutzen.
You want to give me like 30 seconds and talk about him? I just need to run and do something super quick.
Oh shit! Don't leave me alone.
I'm scared.
That's terrible.
Please, Mom.
I'm
Dad.
fucking terrified.
Talk about I don't know. Talk about his furry video or something, or talk about I don't know. That's the one you seem to like the most, right?
I mean, that's a good meme. It's because yeah.
All right.
Piss off, Connor. Fuck off.
Okay, I'm going.
Yeah. So I might talk about let's see. I'm looking at his videos now. See which ones I watched and I preferred. Oh, just a Star Citizen one. Okay, I'm gonna watch that one later. But I like it's talking about the origin of furries. Originally was they came from a comic series because they wanted to make comics less serious. This was a long time ago. I'm not exactly sure the timeline, but they wanted to make comics less serious. So they instead of having people in these comics, they wanted to do animals, and they called them the Funny Animal series. So they'd have animal people in weird situations, like I don't know, just goofy stuff. But that slowly degraded as some artists started making them in sexual situations. And then the funny animal community started rising. Oh shit! I need to remember the first con, but eventually,
I think
I'm skipping a lot of shit.
The comics went over a lot. It was like comics kind of meant for adults. It wasn't always pornographic in nature, from what I remember.
They slowly started slipping into that, though, right?
Yeah, I think they're just...
shitting, Connor. Get over here.
What? I am here. I just had to pee.
All right. Okay, you're back.
Yeah,
wow.
I just didn't want to interrupt you. I was back in like 10 seconds.
Fuck you. Don't leave me to do that shit. That's terrifying.
You're doing a good job.
I'm a socially inept fucking dyslexic retard.
I think you were doing wonderful.
Okay, okay. I'll speak that on another podcast. I'll rewatch that video though, once Connor's watched it as well, because that's probably going to be a better topic to talk about.
Yeah, we definitely, we both can watch it and talk
Connor,
about it.
we need to watch the Star Citizen down the rabbit hole though, Connor. He has his own Star Citizen game that's never going to release.
I watched the reason I know about the comic thing is I watched like the first 10 minutes before I passed out last night. I didn't think I was going to. But a more historical topic, one thing I find like crazy interesting that we've learned a lot about is like every fucking Hollywood representation of samurais and knights. It's all fucking bullshit. Like,
Yeah.
well, I think we start with knights and then we can move on to samurai. But
I know less about Knight. You know more about Knights than I do, I think.
yeah. So like we always think of knights as like big, lumbering, fucking slow boys. You know, armor's heavy. But the thing about armor is like it was made in a way to let them move. How the fuck are you gonna swing a sword or a hammer? And the way that's portrayed in movies is also completely false. A lot of movies or games will show hands together on the handle of the sword, right? But what the actual way to do it was apart, because if your hands were apart, one towards the hilt, one towards the pommel, you could kind of like angle the blade and block and do a bunch of different stances. And even just swords in general, though, weren't really all that much used, because a sword is never going to slash through armor. You know, it works for things like Vikings and shit like that, because there's
They mostly use axes as well, though.
even then, yeah, they mostly use axes, but a sword would work in that situation because there's no armor. And if it is, it's leather, you know? Like the weapons that really fucking kicked ass was like halberds, pikes, anything with any amount of armor pierce. Like hammers and blunt things would just cave armor inwards into people.
He was rupture into people and rupture their organs and break bones.
Which is, you know,
really useful.
Much more combat. Powerful than I slash you.
Yeah.
But yeah, and like in suits of armor, you can roll. Like you could dodge, and like I know that seems like a silly concept, like we're talking about Dark Souls or something here, but Dark Souls is honestly a pretty wonderful example of something done right, because you can roll in heavy armor and you can roll in armor. And Dark Souls is a fantasy dark gothic video game, but it still has a lot more realism to it than a lot of other media. So hats off to FromSoft for making realistic medieval shit. But
yeah,
you want to take the lead on the samurai bullshit?
Sure. Well, the whole samurai thing of them using katanas, samurai sword, whatever the fuck you want to call them, was bullshit. They were more for symbolism and, oh, this is the sword of my dynasty, whatever. But they never really used them in combat. Very rarely they would. They would always be good some against unarmored, because samurai, the katanas are very, very fragile, and they would shatter incredibly easily. So it was very rare they would ever use them. They would mostly use spears and bows, and they quite often carry multiple spears, because spears are also useful for throwing, not just stabbing. But as time progressed with samurai, something I found quite interesting. There's a film about Last Samurai. A long time ago, they would, well, not even that long ago, I suppose. But oh shit, let me gather my thoughts real quick.
Yeah, Last Samurai is the one about like the ending of the samurai, right? The black and white.
Yeah, It wasn't. It's not black and white. It's colored.
Oh, I thought it was black and white. I know a little bit really about it.
I recommend watching. It's
I
interesting. Because as Japan started to westernize a bit, they would get guns became very, very common. And they would deny the samurai guns. They weren't allowed to use them. Oh, it's against your code. But the real reason why the emperor didn't want them to use guns is because, oh shit, the shogun could just fucking overthrow me if they had guns. So it became a point where samurais were just getting mistreated more, and just extracted from society, like pushed off. So they end up basically warring at some point. But since they didn't have guns, they were just decimated and all killed. And that was basically how the samurai kind of ended. There's still some people that are samurais now, but they kind of just ended because, the emperor was paranoid and ended up just shooting them all with guns while they were running up with bows and spears and stuff.
There's just such a vast difference in the technology there that they really didn't.
But yeah,
it was the
they had no chance.
I can't remember
There
the
was no way.
exact people that wiped them out. It was something to do with like
No.
some kind of like, it wasn't a navy. It was some force like that though, essentially, that just kind of rolled in and they made like a last stand, and the samurai really just didn't fucking stand. It's like 300, but like not at all.
Yeah. But it was. It's kind of tragic that they're just their whole fucking order just got it's decimated for basically no reason. It's pretty awful.
Yeah, I mean, that's just a lot of history and culture that was essentially wiped out. And two, having the upper hand in technology, they could have just like made them stand down. I don't think it needed to come to complete like slaughter. But
yeah, that's what it was. But yeah, samurai swords were mostly ceremonial, honestly.
Yeah. A katana would shatter in most fucking cases
if you hit armor with it. Yeah, it's bang gone.
Like if it's a shirtless dude against another shirtless dude because they're having like an honor fight to the
one
death.
of them would be better. The katana would be way better. Sloshing is way better against unarmored.
Yeah, I believe they mostly used like spears, odachi, and bow.
Odachis were used, yeah. They were thick. They weren't like thin like katanas. They were like anti-cavalry.
Imagine
like spears.
An odachi is kind of like a pole with almost like a scimitar blade at the end of it. It's a very, very thick, wide blade.
Yeah.
And it has a lot of obviously like universal just mobility. It's able to reach far, which essentially always seems like a pretty powerful thing in combat. Like
reach is overpowered. Needs to be nerfed, honestly.
I mean, hey, even in D&D, we see that reach is like one of the most powerful fucking things. So yeah, it's interesting. Kind of yeah.
Who was it that used meteor hammers? I don't remember them.
Meteor hammers?
It was China. Okay, yeah, they're memes.
Oh, I don't know about that at all.
Two big foil heads on a chain. But no handle, you would swing them around.
I mean, if that hits you...
Oh no, they're terrifying, but like, holy shit, if I use one of them, I would just kill myself.
Oh yeah, there's a lot of shit. Like I know it was a Middle Eastern weapon. It's the one with like, it's like a bunch of thin, long sheets of metal. And essentially, if you can't use it, you're just dead. And like...
Yeah, there's so many weapons like that.
There's like one person right now in the world that can teach and knows how to use it. And that's so fucking wild to me.
There you go. I discarded a picture of meteor hammers so you have a reference to what they actually are. They're kind of crazy.
Check it out.
They're kind of... They seem super cumbersome.
But
they're terrifying.
And yeah, for everyone listening, it's basically... Imagine like two giant brass pumpkins with a chain. There's no handle. It's like a morning star. But imagine instead of the morning star being connected to the handle, it's just connected to another chain, which is connected to another morning star. It's kind of fucking wild.
They're crazy.
Oh.
The best dual-wielded weapon, because dual-wielding was useless.
Would those meteor hammers perhaps vibrate with motion?
Oh yeah, they're vibrating with motion. Yeah, when you swing them. There's
a game called Y2K, and we've been watching someone play it on YouTube. Oni plays, and it's just like there's an art to writing something. Like I write poetry, and when I make my poetry, I use a lot of words I wouldn't normally use when I talk, right? But this guy wrote this game and all the dialogue in such a presumptuous, like higher than thou, my work is the best kind of way. And one of the lines in it was like, the elevator vibrated with motion. And it's just like,
it's like, okay.
Why? I'm trying to remember some of the other lines.
Honestly,
it's just like everything in
it. Like, there's so much shit like that. It's kind of
every line.
You don't speak like that, Connor. Fucking idiot.
Yeah, if I spoke like how I write poetry, I would not want to be friends with me.
You sound like such a cunt.
Because always, I'm never going to use the word tenebrous in a normal fucking sentence. If I look at a fucking...
kind of badass, though.
If I'm in a dark fucking mansion, I'm gonna say, whoa, this hallway's pretty dark. I'm not gonna be like, oh, the Tenebrous hallway
always
cracked and rippled with enigmatic energy. Like, no, I'm not a
Connor,
cunt.
we need to do a fucking podcast where we entirely speak like that. Speak assholes.
Just be Wayne Jude.
That should be in the first podcast. So people think we're cunts.
I mean,
what the fuck are these assholes?
Dude, I'm sure
who's
that's
gonna
already
watch it, though? Like,
one,
3
who's
people,
gonna watch it? 2, anyone who's watching it already thinks we're both cunts, I'm sure. So, hey, a goal achieved.
Yeah.
Cheers to that.
Yep. Oh shit.
All my Malibu is gone, and I'm now sad.
Why?
I mean, I could get another glass, but I'm kind of saving the rest of it.
You have no money though.
I don't have money to buy Malibu. You're right. Need a fucking job.
Just like ferment your piss.
It's like kombucha, dude.
Easy.
Bottle it. Sell it
literally
live probiotics and apple cider vinegar. Kombucha. There's some okay kombucha. There's a brand called Kavita that I like a lot, but every other brand just tastes like, coincidentally, tastes like piss.
Yeah. Buy a jar of fucking Gwyneth Paltrow's fermented like diarrhea. I don't know.
The thing about that, you say that, and I have to question for a second. Is it real?
I don't know. I wouldn't be surprised though. She's a fucking psychopath.
Whatever happened, man. She was Juliet in that, or not Juliet. She was whoever the fuck she was in that Romeo and Love movie. So yeah.
I've never seen that.
Yeah, the one where I sent you the picture of the guy because he looks like fucking
the gangster one?
No, not the Leonardo.
Oh, that one.
The one where the guy looks like. Come on, Toby.
Okay, yeah.
He's got the bean face. Yeah, I mentioned that to someone.
He's got the bean head. Yeah, come on.
I went to lunch with someone and I mentioned it to her and she immediately laughed. And I was like, "You're laughing because you agree with Toby." the elongated bean head.
Yeah, come on.
It's true, man. I can't deny it.
Yeah, smashing a baked bean but put facial hair on it, easy.
Yeah, we've I feel like recently I'm kind of glad fucking buying Blasphemous again was a very good decision because we've played.
Yeah, because I hated that the first time I played.
Me too. We've played Blasphemous, Takes Two, Monster Hunter, Little Nightmares 2, and Outriders. And out of all those, I don't know, there's different aspects to all of them. Fucking Monster Hunter Rise was incredible. I'm a huge Monster Hunter simp, but I think Rise was much better than World. But, like, you have to ask yourself this question with Rise, which is, like, so it's amazing, but it also has as much content.
Yeah, but where's the game?
As a fruit cup. It's
Where
like,
the fuck is the game?
It's just so... There's no content. It's like they made a tech demo. It's like fucking Mario Party 8 or 9 or whatever the Switch one is. It's fun, but like... Where's the content?
I've already got my endgame build, basically. You know?
Sam, that shouldn't take 50 hours. Like I said, I think Freedom Unite, I had... And this is like all my playtime combined. Like... over my whole fucking life, and I played that shit since like 6th grade, but I had like 5,000 hours, which I understand is ridiculous, but we're talking about years and years and years, like from 6th grade and even sometime in college. I was literally playing Freedom Unite when I was like driving to Wisconsin that one time for that vacation with the one family, and I was just thinking like, holy shit, this game's like been there with me my whole life, but. Even that game,
honestly,
you're not in G rank and done with it and grinding for like 1,000+ fucking hours, and then Rise, we're done in like 50, which is still.
I think I was 60 total.
Good.
I dicked around a lot, but
I
think I just left it AFK for a while.
Yeah, same here. I probably fell asleep a few times. Comparatively to other games, though, it's not as long. I personally felt Blasphemous was a really fucking great length.
Good length. What was I don't know how much. Exactly how much I had, but
I think I had like
probably
14-ish hours, and that's a lot of me doing completionist shit because I did all the Miriam challenges.
Yeah.
I did pretty much every side quest I possibly fucking could. Got almost all the prayers and all that shit. Yeah, if you're someone who likes that kind of like platformy, little-ish like
Castlevania.
Yeah, it's kind of like Castlevania with like slight elements of Dark Souls mixed in there, but in terms of design philosophy. But it's very graphically,
like religion-based.
Yeah. If you like weird fucking religious shit, it's mwah. It's so good. Because there's not a lot of shit like that. Like, I try to think, and I think of Dante's, but like Dante's.
Yeah, but that's a bit more. That's slightly less weird, and it's more demon focused than God.
And
being
literally
focused on God on that side is way rarer.
Inferno, and like specifically from the point of the novel or the Divine Comedy. And I've only read Inferno. I've not read. I believe it's. I always forget. It's like Paradiso, Purgatorium, or Limbo. There's 2 other books, but I haven't read them because I have not sat down to do it. People also say Inferno is just the best. But his is more of like a classical take on hell. I mean, it's the representation of what Christianity uses for hell. It is the groundwork for imagining that. Whereas, obviously, Blasphemous is a fucking video game made in like 2018.
It's way more creative.
Yeah. It's also just fucking out there.
Yeah.
As well as being a game based on, like, about religion. I think the name Blasphemous fits it well. I think most religious people would be very upset with that game.
But so, just portrays God as a huge cunt.
Yeah,
which the Bible already kind of does.
Oh my god. Hey. Which fucking Bible? That's the question. Because there's
all
like
of them.
9,000 million renditions by some random cunt.
I mean, they kind of want you to fear God because, like, they ask if you're a God-fearing man. You know, it's like a fucking tyrant.
It's so weird. Or it's like Temple OS, where, like I said, he's a very racist individual, but like, you know, he's also feverishly religious, and it's like, doesn't religion say like, you know, treat everyone well because everyone's God's creations? But
except those people, you know.
Yeah, that's basically what his thoughts are. It's just like listening. Like I said, when people joke about that shit, it can be funny, but like everything Temple OS says is not a joke.
It's not a joke, and he's like horrifically schizophrenic and has fucking no idea.
Like listening to some of those audio clips was like genuinely uncomfortable for me, and I'm not someone who ever gets uncomfortable, but my fucking god.
Yeah.
But Little Nightmares was a very different, not religious at all, but good atmosphere, good design, short, but once again. I'd much rather have something that doesn't overstay its welcome than a fucking 1,000-hour JRPG that you have to grind through. It's just not really fun.
Monster Hunter?
Oh. Yeah, but the grind is fun in Monster Hunter. That's the whole point of the game. Literally, like, I feel like Monster Hunter established some... There we go. There's my root issue of being masochistic. It's all Monster Hunter.
Oh, it's all Monster Hunter. Yeah, you were going through puberty and you're like, oh shit. I like being wailed on by fucking Baroth. Not Barioth. Fucking Ice Boy.
God. Hey, he was in Try. I played a shit ton of Try in 6th grade. I hate that guy.
Asshole.
Because, like, I don't know.
The worst find.
Literally.
Tiger X, honestly. Tiger X. The worst.
What was I think one of the G-Rank urgent missions in Freedom Unite, the one me and Ben have all that time in, is literally 2 Tigrex at the same time. G-Rank. In the same area.
No, I hate that.
Oh. I mean, they just do the charge attack that locks in on you, both of them.
Yeah, and then they both throw at the same time and your fucking eardrums burst and you die. Breaks all the bones in your body.
That game is so fucking good. There's like, being hard is good. Like, we were talking about the Miriam challenge shit. Oh, yeah. We were talking about the Miriam challenge shit, and like, I probably died on that final challenge close to 100 plus times, if not more. And it took me probably a good 3 hours to beat, but like, beating it felt good because I got, it's weird, it's a roller coaster. I'd get better, I'd learn tricks, and then I'd have like 10 minutes of just being a complete shitter, dying on the first jump.
I mean, it's like Blossom's platforming it's good, but it's like it wasn't the focus of the game.
Yeah.
And that's kind of obvious when you do those challenges.
I mean, it's much
more. It can get a little bit frustrating.
It is much more obvious in a game like Hollow Knight, where like the exploration and platforming is part of the game's fucking design.
Yeah. Hollow Knight's platforming was good. It felt good. The movement was great.
The
Blossom's movement's a little more clunky. The schmovement, yeah.
I think it's intentionally clunky, and like,
Yeah.
it's not intentionally clunky to like the point of being Space Hulk.
No. No. Oof.
Because
That
there's
game was fucking. That movement ruined that game
yes,
completely.
yeah.
Deathwing, by the way. Just in
Oh,
case.
Space Hulk Death. Yeah, there's like 12 Space Hulk games.
There's probably 8 million Space Hulk games. Yeah.
I don't remember how many. There's like, what was it in the last like 7 years? There's been over 67 Warhammer games, something like that. It's some crazy fucking number.
Yeah.
But hey, I'll still play
All of them incredible games. Yeah. All of them perfect games.
No matter how
10 or
shit.
10s.
I mean, there's out of those 67, there's probably like 10 that are good, and that's like Total War, Dawn of War, fucking Vermintide. It's like, yeah, okay.
Hey, Mechanics is pretty good. I just didn't play it.
I know, and that's because on Switch. If you buy it on Xbox, I'm sure you'd play it.
I bought it on PlayStation.
Oh no.
It was super cheap on PlayStation, remember, for some point. It went really low.
I mean, hey, if you ever want to play it again, I'm sure it'll go on sale more. It just did recently.
It is on sale right now.
Yeah,
like,
but
off money.
Money. Oh man. We've played a little bit of Outriders. We're kind of like waiting for them to fix shit, but it's an interesting. If you keep up on like anything that happens in like gaming, and I think this is an interesting topic whether you like or dislike games, but like people wanted Cyberpunk to be like the best game ever, and when it released it was just this crappy broken fucking shitstorm of a mess.
I had a feeling, honestly. I was joking about it so much that it's gonna be shit when it comes out. Like,
I mean, you're right. But the weird thing is, they really didn't communicate much with people. They kind of just went dark, which is similar to what Sean Murray did with No Man's Sky, but you have a designer who made an iPod game, fucking Joe Danger, and then Sony pays the money to make this fucking the best game ever, essentially, and it's just impossible. And all things considered, they've done a lot better after years, and they went quiet to just work on it and stop listening to hate.
It needed years more of development, but Sony gave them a deadline. Like, hey, people like the idea of your game. Here's the money, but you have to release it by this time.
Yeah, like with Outriders 2, there's a lot of issues with the game. There's bugs. There's like inventory wipes and all the shit where you lose all your stuff. But I read a tweet, and it was like, what did they say? They sent a message to the dev publicly, and it was something around the lines of like, I've played 65 hours and all my equipment is gone. Do you know how I can get a refund through Steam? And it's like, dude, you played the game 60 fucking hours. I'm 90% positive that most games you play and buy, you've probably only played for like 10 hours max. Like, you've already gotten your worth out of the game.
Speak for yourself.
Well,
the man who never completes games.
Whoa!
I mean, I get what you mean.
Hey, I completed 2 games in 2 days, man. Takes Two, and Blasphemous. The last 2 days.
Whoa.
I have been good at committing and finishing games.
2 games this year. Whoa.
I resent that. I mean, all the shit I've been playing is like multiplayer and shit.
Most games are like, yeah, I know, I'm joking.
I mean, you're not
Most
wrong.
games are like 20, 25 hours long, but games like
here and there. It depends on who. Because like
story games are.
Army
like
of
that.
2 is like 6 hours. The Xbox 360 era, most games
yeah,
are
that
6
came
to
out
8 hours.
ages ago. No, but I see a lot of story games are at least decently fucking long. I feel.
But just getting back on track with Outriders in general.
Oh yeah.
They're being super communicative and like they're fixing their game. And most people, I personally, I could have gotten it free off Game Pass. I wanted to pay for it because they're a dev that hasn't made much, and I genuinely think their product is wonderful, and I want to support that. Even if I can get their product for free, I think they deserve the funding, the money. And like people are just
plus that dope car skin, come on.
Oh, the dope car skin. Yeah, hey, there's the real reason. Don't listen to anything I just said. I'm just a horrible liar. I just wanted a sweet dope car skin with 3 dog heads on it, Cerberus and such. No, that's just a fucking meme. But half of these people got it for free and they're pissing the bed, crying and shit. And then it's like, dude, you fucking got it for free. Stop complaining. it's gonna get fixed. When has a game come out in the last 2 years that has worked? Remember how hype I was for Wasteland, and then we couldn't even play it for like 2 fucking weeks?
Multiplayer games specifically, though.
Yeah.
Splunky, fucking unplayable.
Splunky was unplayable. Wasteland was unplayable. Anything that comes
Probably
out.
some other shit.
Pretty sure Assassin's Creed had game-breaking bugs. Monster Hunter has like 0 bugs.
Oh, yeah,
but like, hey,
one.
If you do the action pose and the game saves, haha, goodbye to your save file. And like,
sure.
I mean, I guess that's like a hard thing to QA.
Test for as well.
Like, you're just going through like, every emote and
the 2 person in existence that fucking had that issue. you know? But it's just fucking obscure shit.
I think Outriders will bloom into something very good at some point, and I think it has a foundation that is incredible. It's not something new. It's just a lot of things that everyone already likes, but all things considered, it feels fun to play, and at the end of the day, that's all that fucking matters. That you enjoy the product you're using, and like, the devs clearly are passionate about it, and like, myself as a creative person, it's like, if you're happy with what you make, that's like the most important fucking thing. Unless you're like the guy that made Mankind Human Odyssey, and you're like, oh, the critics just don't understand how amazing my game is.
I mean, come on, they just don't understand, Connor. Jeez. Monkey. Return to Monkey, honestly.
It's, for any not in the know, it's a game about being a monkey, and the guy who made it is a huge fucking...
He's literally a monkey. Fucking idiot.
His ego, essentially, is why we're calling him a monkey. Like, he just has this massive fucking ego, and thinks he's I'm not racist. No, God. He has very few brain cells, is why we're
he's a fucking...
laughing at him. I think he was
just stuck up asshole.
He was one of the guys that made Assassin's Creed, and then whatever. He moved on from that.
Oof.
And
most games are
hit or miss.
Very hit or miss.
One thing that I wrote down that I wanted to talk about, though, we addressed this. I'm taking it's called transpersonal psychology, which is literally in the definition of transpersonal psych, it's like, oh, nobody fucking knows what it actually is, which is kind of frustrating, but it's a pretty cool field. I think it, in my opinion, and how I would try to figure it out, is it focuses a lot on consciousness and transcending, and how we can be affected either way. But we had to do speed dating in class to meet people, and all the topics were pretty wild. But one I really, really liked was essentially... is there a God, and like, what is a God? Do you want me to go, or would you like to give your shot at it?
No, you go first.
Okay.
You go first. Go first.
Mine is you can take some shots at me if you'd like while I do it, but so I defined a God to the person I was talking to, essentially as like, it's something that you give power to, and then we kept kind of defining this more and more. We're like, what's a god to one person can be a completely different god to someone else. Whether you're talking about God, as in, Sky Daddy, or you're referring to, like, maybe a religion or culture with multiple gods. Like, I mean, if you look at, like,
Hindu
Rome, stuff. Greece. There's a ton of deities with Hindu stuff. Yeah. Which is all super interesting, like, Ganesh and all that shit, Rama. Mm-hmm. I believe those are in the same pantheon, and I'm not being a fucking
the 2 best of my gods, yeah.
Yeah, but so it can be other things too that people might not think. Money can be someone's god. Sex, drugs, alcohol, all that can be someone's god. It's essentially anything that you put above yourself and lend too much power to, which can be, I think genuinely speaking, making something a god is dangerous, because I think part of it too maybe is it is an unintentional defining of something as a god. Me personally, I'm completely unreligious. I'm not pious in any way, but for me personally, I think what has been God in my life, you could say nature. I value a lot of natural things, but it's more of an emotion for me. Love on a general scale is probably my God. Something I give far too much power and thought over me personally. And it's a wonderful thing, love, but it's this double-edged fucking sword. Because it's something that is very well not understood, and I don't think it's understood by anybody, because everyone experiences love in a completely different lens, and their definition for the term in general is completely different. Even if two people experience the exact same thing, I would argue that they would define love in two completely different ways. I find in my life, the older I get, the more defined my definition of love becomes, but it always changes. There's been a lot of times in my life, when I was younger, where I was like, oh yeah, clearly I'm in love right now. And then, things come to pass and it's like, no, I was being fucking stupid. That's not what love feels like. And then something happens, I'm like, all right, this is what it feels like. And then I'm like, no, clearly not. And I think by this point in my life, I've experienced enough stuff to have a good grasp of if I feel love or if I'm feeling loved, just because I've dealt with that kind of shit enough. But I think it is an interesting idea to give something, I was going to say immaterial godhood, but isn't all godhood immaterial? So yeah, that's my personal take on it. I'm curious to hear yours though.
See, I'm not sure if I would define something inanimate, just like money, as you said. Someone could call that a god. I think gods are. This is just. I'm not religious at all. Basically the same as Connor. We're probably similar in that sense, but God is something someone can believe is like a being. I don't know. I always see God as beings reigning over a domain. Like, the god of fucking ice cream, or whatever the fuck. But that god will control everything about ice cream. They have complete power of ice cream, or some shit. Like, this thing I don't think about very often because it's just religion stuff never really crosses my mind too much. Because it kind of isn't my field of interest normally. But yeah, I'm not sure if I could say material things could be a god. I get where you're coming from, but I see more gods as powerful beings that people could worship.
I think a god, to me, is just a concept.
It is a concept.
That's where I'm coming from.
But they're like, this idol represents our god. But their god's not just the idol in their mind. They're gods of being. Because
one thing, gods, I guess, in my case,
typically gods are always beings in people's brains, even if they're not fucking real.
Well, they're personifying something, right? Like I said,
they are.
My god is love, right? I mean, look at things like Aphrodite or Cupid or anything like that.
Yeah.
It's someone taking something that is their god and personifying it, giving it personality and making it alive.
Yeah.
The reason I say money can be someone's god is if someone puts that as their highest priority in life, to make money, be rich, and yada yada yada, that has control over them. I think a god is as well anything that influences you a lot, anything that has power over your thinking.
That's more of a vice than a god. I feel like for something to be a god, you need to worship it and believe it's something that's almighty.
I think you can worship money. I see what you mean by a vice. I think it depends on the severity of how important that object is to you. Because let's say I'm sad and I drink a lot. That doesn't necessarily mean alcohol is a god to me. It's just a current vice to escape. It's an avenue of escapism, at least with alcohol. But I wouldn't necessarily describe that as a god to me. So I think it depends on the use of the object and the amount of where that sits within your psyche and your hierarchy of what is important. Like, is it the top of your fucking pyramid?
Yeah.
Because I doubt anyone is going to their fucking cabinet and bowing down, going, Nagash, Nagash, I love you, Nagash.
Some people.
I guarantee you that I'm not doing that. I look at Nagash and I go, How do I sell you, Nagash? I don't need this.
How?
I don't even play Death Rattle.
Where are the models with? I want more skeletons with noses in the gosh, please. But no, I fuck it. God needs to be something you worship, like actually worship, not just like something you love, like money.
Something you worship, something you love.
I'm restraining myself here, Connor. I'm so. Oh, this is she shanty right now. That is some. There's two things in my life that are gods: she shanty and Connor's boy pussy.
You give it too much power.
One day, when I die, I'll go into the heaven that's inside Connor's boy pussy.
Oh my God, I don't think there's a heaven within me.
Yeah, the stinking caverns. It's my favorite Dark Souls area.
The stinking, dude, making Dark Souls places is
abyss.
far too easy.
Yeah.
Like the saltless shore. The fucking aching cavern. It's like everything is just like, you just put two words together that sound vaguely like poetic in a dark way. It's like, hey, what's it in the Blasphemous video? Lyle at some point, it says Slordrin. It's like, yeah, it's basically Lordrin, which is an area in Dark Souls, but Slordrin, it still sounds so real. Like, if you didn't play Dark Souls, you're like, yeah, Slordrin. It's like, oh shit, where's that? Which game is that in?
I mean, it's because they all use to name fucking the same techniques we're naming, though. It's like two words, bang, done.
Oh my God, but yeah, no, the person I was talking to and I said all that God stuff to, they were laughing because they're like, yeah, we might carry the same God. I just kind of laughed. I was like, yeah, maybe. Whether that's an intentional choice of mine or not, it's what I give too much power to in my life, and it's what I have to deal with.
Yeah.
But I have another hypothetical for you.
Oh.
Before we get to our myth stuff, and then probably wrap up the first episode. So here's my hypothetical. It's kind of a two-part deal, right?
Yep.
You have the chance to make a park, right? You get to bring back the fucking dinosaurs. Do you do it? Essentially, just make Jurassic Park.
Why not? Yeah, cool.
Yeah, but you've seen Jurassic Park. You know they're gonna get out.
And I'm fucking in the helicopter with my suitcase full of fucking cash. I don't give a fuck.
Think of the lawsuits. Think of the lawsuits. Make them sign a waiver.
Yeah, I mean, make some waiver. Come on, this is Dino Island. If you die, not my fault.
Alright, and here's the longer part of my hypothetical, though.
Yeah. Okay.
Now, if you could make a park the size of Jurassic Park about anything in the fucking world, what kind of park would you make? I think I have an answer.
How much power does this hold, this park?
How much power?
Come on, the Final Fantasy. Yeah, like how unrealistic.
Your dream, like as far-reaching as your dreams.
Come on, go. It's the Final Fantasy VII park. Come on. No, shit.
There's free gaslighting and abuse. Just walk right in.
Yeah. Oh fuck! I think a meme park would be pretty great, where memes are real.
It's like Pepe the Frog walking around.
I think that would be a pretty great meme.
There's like a gorilla spinning in a fucking water pool, pool. Holy shit! I did the goofy thing. A blunt, sharp knife. Yes.
Yeah.
Fucking. You know what I think I'd do?
Yeah.
This sounds really dumb. When I was thinking podcast ideas, I thought of this to myself. What if it was a park about spoons? Like, spoons throughout the ages. Spoons from all over the world. Like, you have your brass section, you have your silver section.
There's some museums that's got spoons in them, though.
No, but there's no museum that is all about spoons.
Fucking bet.
Like, what if there's like a smaller part, you know, it's like kind of more niche part of the park, but it's like the evolution of the spoon, the spork. And there's sporks throughout time. Like a little timeline of...
There is a spoon museum.
Holy fucking shit, where?
Britain.
In Britain? Fuck! When I come to Scotland, let's go there. Come on. We'll fly to Britain. And we'll go to the Spoon Museum.
Fuck yeah, I'd be down. This one's cool.
I just really love... I love the idea of a
some really cool spoons,
park.
Connor.
See? Oh. I had a brilliant idea!
Oh shit. Oh fuck. I found the god of spoons.
The god of spoons. See? A spoon could be your god. I'm telling you, man. Yeah. Anything you give power.
I let this thing be my fucking god.
Did you send me a picture of it?
Yeah.
Alright.
The spoon had legs.
So it's imagine like the spoon, the head of the spoon is almost like a muscle, like, you know, like a fucking little clam boy muscle. Very like long, shallow on the inside. And then there's the like handle part of the spoon, but it's very short. And then attached to that is these little fucking wooden like they look like mannequin legs, and they got these big fucking feet. Like it's not proportionately accurate at all to human legs. It's kind of like I'd be scared to use it because I'd be like going to bed and I'd be like quivering in my fucking bed, like, oh god, when will the spoon come for me? Yeah.
It's just standing over you at nighttime.
There's like a tiny little shadow.
This demon is a giant spoon. Fucking hell demon. I'm here to kill you, brother.
Whispers. I'm going to scoop your eyes out while you're sleeping.
Yes.
Sleep with both your eyes open. Like, fuck that, man. But would it be worse if it was a fork with legs? Is there a fork museum?
Oh god, that sounds a bit wild, Connor. No, I'm not gonna lie.
I can understand a spoon museum, but a fork museum? You'd have to be a fucking loon.
Yeah.
Oh, man. But yeah, I think a museum about myth would be very cool, and I'm sure that exists, but like all myth and all religion combined, I think would be a fucking phenomenal idea.
Wait. Fork National Museums, Scotland. Is there a fork museum in Scotland? I'm not sure though.
Oh, I thought there was. I got real excited.
Maybe, Connor. It just keeps trying to correct me to folk museum.
Folk.
Dumb.
Hey, like a folk music museum or folk tale museum?
Like folklore, like folk tales.
I mean,
and shit.
any of that shit's
Pretty cool.
awesome. I actually love.
That would be terrifying. An island full of fucking folk tales would just be like hell.
What if it's like Night at the Museum, but for folk tale shit, and at night all the folk tales come to life? What? Yeah. There's another part of the hypothetical then. I just fucking made that up. What's the... Oh... I got my fucking answer. What would be the worst kind of museum to be in if it was a Night at the Museum case where all the things came to life at night and you're the security guard at night? I have such an easy answer. I'm gonna
a nuclear bomb museum.
No. Any kind of World War II museum. It's just like that's the first thing that comes to my head. I'm just like, no, that's a bad place to fucking be.
Hitler 2 Electric Boogaloo, come on.
Basically, fucking mannequin Hitler coming to life. That's not something I want in my life.
He's a little fucking nerd. You just push him over and he fucking starts crying.
Just bully him and say, your artwork is shit. You'll never make it into art school.
You'll never go to art school.
He just starts crying. Just spit on him. That'd be fitting. Other museums...
It's all because that Jewish man took the last piece of pie. That's why he hates Jews. The last piece of pie in the cafe he was in. Come on.
Is that like a factual thing?
No.
Okay.
No, he did that in the fucking TV series.
Okay. I'm trying to think of other museums that would be awful to be in at night. Honestly, a dinosaur museum? Fuck that.
What about, I don't know, like a fluid museum, and the fluids just become like fucking hell beasts that like could change their shape at will and drown you.
What about like?
what
I'm
kind
pretty
of
sure they have like
museums?
Sex museums and shit like that, and that sounds kind of.
I've been to one. Yeah.
Horrifying.
I fingered like a fuck toy's asshole.
Yeah, but what if they all come to life and try to murder you?
Murder you? Nah, that's not what they're doing in the sex museum, Connor.
Hey, it might lead to death.
I mean, not if it was one about you, Connor, probably. Yeah.
Hey, I have never once said I want someone to kill me.
I mean, yeah, but eventually, as you get older, then you'll, Connor, as you said.
As I grow more degenerate over the years.
Yeah, as you get more mature, sometimes you just want death.
First it's a tickle, a day later it's, hey, you ever just want to use a kitchen knife with me? I won't fucking mind.
Yeah, like right into my fucking throat.
This is right across from me. Yeah, right in my chest, right in my heart. Yeah.
Yeah. Easy. Dead.
God, that's awful. But yeah, I say we start heading towards wrapping this up with our every.
Right, yeah.
We have a few plans of things we want to do every podcast, but one of the ideas we made is we want to do a myth. Whether it's just something to kind of, I really like learning when I listen to a podcast. I like learning and I like laughing. So those are two things I'm really trying to channel with this. But we're going to bring obscure myths each week and just kind of joke around about them. So do you want to go first, Toby? I think I should go first because mine is going to be less fucking meme-worthy than yours.
Sure.
We end on yours and then do our little outro. But
Okay.
so this is Greek. And I'm gonna fucking slaughter all the wording on this because my writing is small. It's like Kanathos in the Ergolid is a spring. There's a spring existed which is called Naplia, which is where Hera, right? And I believe this is Zeus's wife. She annually renews her virginity here. So essentially, there's just this spring she goes to, and she becomes unfucked. When she goes in it,
Yeah,
she becomes a virgin again. And apparently, because of this myth, people in real life found springs and made baths to restore their virginity, and they do this kind of before events and before gatherings or parties, like women especially. I'm not sure if this was a thing that men did.
Yes, I think it's way more women.
I mean, if it's about Hera, then I assume so. But
Yeah.
I just. In reflecting on this, it's pretty interesting within itself. I don't really know how water just unfucks you. That's an interesting concept. But
You wash out the cum, remember? You wash the cum out.
yeah.
You're a virgin again.
Oh my god. Yeah, I'm not really sure if they used condoms back then, or if the gods ever did. I mean, Zeus is just a frat boy asshole.
Shit.
Wait, really? As a
'cause it kills
spermicide? Jesus.
Yeah.
But what a weird concept. And the fact that people adopted it as a practice. Like, imagine you just have a bad experience or something like that. And you're just like, nah. He was kind of an asshole.
Nah.
I'm just going to wash it away.
Virgin now.
Virgin again.
Virgin now.
Like,
Yeah.
what did...
Just get rid of the scars though, Connor, sadly.
Oh, God. That's fair. No regrets, no regrets. What's it called?
Dead no thoughts.
Head empty, no thoughts? Head empty, no thoughts? I just love the concept, though, of being like... Imagine how smooth that is. Hera was just able to tell everyone. She's like, oh, I'm a virgin. I've never done this before. And everyone felt so honored and special. But in reality, she's just like, all right, time to take my annual dip in the virgin pool. Back to it.
My annual bath, you know. Done.
Like, were there other people at this bath? Like, were there, like, guards or anything? And I just like the idea of, like, there's two, Greek soldier boys.
Well, if you have sex in the pool, yeah.
Oh, shit. No, not even like that. I just like to think there's, like, two dudes in golden armor with spears at the gate, you know, their loincloths and sandals. And Hera is like, oh, hello. And they're like, oh, yep, she's here again for her annual, de-fucking.
Yes. Yeah, what a hole. She's.
Oh my god. No, I'm sure they were nice about it. They're like, oh, Hera.
I mean, yeah, she could just fucking smite them. Dead.
We are simply but mortal men. We don't understand how this works. Oh man, but so which one are you gonna go with? Are you gonna go with the Pan one?
I think I'm going Pen, right?
I'm ready.
So you know Pen, he's the horny satyr man, who just, you know, basically he fucks every woman he sees on sheep. Apparently, he fucked a lot of sheep apparently, which I didn't. Well, I kind of knew. But there was this one time he's walking in the forest and he stumbled upon a nymph and he was like, this nymph I really want to have sex with this nymph. The nymph was rejecting him, and so she fled into the forest, trying to get away from Pan. So Pan was like, you know what? I'm getting this bitch, and hunted her down through the woods for like a long time to try to find her and have sex with her. But this nymph was so repulsed by having sex with Pan, he found a river god, and he was like, I'm going to turn myself into something so unfuckable, Pan will not have sex with me anymore. I want to be some reeds. So the river god turned the nymph into reeds at the side of the river, and Pan found these reeds, and he was like, well shit, guess I'm turning into a flute.
Oh my god.
And that's Pan's like little windpipe flute that he plays is the nymph he didn't get to fuck. The only woman he didn't get.
God damn it. So he just turned her into a fucking flute, essentially.
Yeah, because she became reeds because she didn't go have sex with him.
He was the first of the incels. Why does she not love me? I know. I'll just make her into a wind instrument and blow her for the rest of life. Fucking Jesus. Everything
fucking
in
stalker,
myth.
asshole, rapist man.
Jesus, yeah. Like, why? Why? There's so much of that in, like, Greek stuff. Like, literally just read any of Zeus, and it's just like, once again,
Zeus is wild, man.
he's a frat boy. He's the frat boy of the
Yeah.
Greeks.
Yeah.
It's fucking wild. But yeah, we'll bring something new myth-wise each time we record, and I think it'll be a fun little segment because it's just goofy. Like, myth, when you look at it, it's so fucking goofy.
It's fucking dumb. It's so stupid. So much dumb shit in mythology. It's so good.
Yeah, but yeah, thank you so much for anyone who's stuck around this long to listen through. I actually made an email, and I'll post it down in the description below, just quailtalespodcast@gmail.com. And if you guys ever want us to answer questions, or you have any ideas or things you want us to discuss, feel free to shoot an email, and I'll be checking that email, and we'll definitely pop that up. I'm assuming the next episode might not come out for a week or two, but we'll probably do another one not too long. So I'll just keep stuff posted on social media and such. But yeah, hope everyone enjoyed and had a good time at listening to our tomfoolery.
Yeah.
But all right, that's an end of an episode. So everyone, have a wonderful night, and hope you enjoyed.